What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Mike Shinnery coming to you on this Sunday, September 8th, 2019. And I just want to share some thoughts that I had this weekend. I took part in some chats and, watched a few videos. And something was said this weekend that opened up my mind, I guess you could say. Um, that led me to create this title, What is the Right Way? All right. So what was said was that it's something in the sense of when you buy a new house, right? You go and you enjoy that new house and you don't look back and you don't keep complaining about your old apartment or your old house, or when you're living in your parents' house and stuff. You start enjoying that new house. All right. And that just opened up my mind to a bunch of thoughts. And so I started writing down some notes and whatnot. And it led me somehow down this path to, what is the right way? You'll hear a lot of people say that there's only, this is the way you're supposed to live. This is how you find success. And we always talk about like the red pill knowledge and the matrix and living in this reality that we're in, right? So I wanted to kind of focus more on the success side of things, right? So what is the right way? What is the right way to find success? Um, we hear all the time, okay, most of us heard growing up, go to school, go to college, you get a good job. For us guys, you go find your wife, have a family, buy a house, and grow old together, right? And that would be the perfect way of life. And as we're finding now, that's not the way it is. That's not the reality, right? With all the other issues going on with, like, the feminism, the Me Too movement, there's a lot of things going against guys that follow that plan, that path. All right. What is the toxic masculinity is like now just being a man it's bad, right? But there are ways to overcome that. All right. So my answer to this question, what is the right way? Okay. There's no one absolute right way to do anything. That's the way I look at life. There's no one right way. All right. But there are a few ways that I have learned, I guess, that are more productive or will get you closer to the good life that you want. All right. So the one thing that we all have to realize first is that what's good for you may not be so good for other people. And that's in a lot of different realms of life. And that if you get stuck in that one train of thought, right? Just going to school, going to college, that life's going to turn out perfect for you. And that's not, that doesn't work for everybody, right? So there's a few different spaces where we can look at that. All right. So let's start with religion. All right. There's a lot of different religions out there, and what people are finding out is that if you just follow the basics of any religion, it doesn't get you the life that you want. All right. But all these different religions do have some rules and some instruction, I guess you could say. The rules and instruction, right? That if you put this instruction into action, all right, actually do live your life a certain way, um, and actually follow out the plan of that, it'll get you to a place in your life that might find you the successes you want, the happiness that you want, okay, the enjoyment out of life that you want. Um, there's a lot of different scriptures and stuff like that, and I'm not a religious person, so I don't memorize the scriptures or nothing like that. But I know there's a part in the Christian Bible that says something like, "You get not because you ask not," or something like that, right? It's like you're everybody's praying and asking to cure a problem, right? And so there are times where somebody, like, say for instance, somebody in your family has cancer, okay? A lot of people out there are praying and the cancers are not getting solved. They're not getting cured, rather. And what we have learned is that the people that live a healthy life, somehow those people don't have those problems, right? So some people will tell you that it's because they live the way that the Christian Bible tells them. Don't eat pork. Don't eat, what is it, shrimp or whatever, the bottom dwellers of the ocean and all that mess, right? All right. So that might work well for you, but that might not work so well for other people. So you can't really push your religion onto other people. All right. If it works for you when it comes to religion, if you want other people to accept your religion, to accept your way of life, you know what? Live that good life. Become the perfect example of that religion. People will be more open to learning and understanding where you're coming from. Okay, maybe they'll be more accepting of your religion. But there's also, there's a lot of bad sides of that, which is why people turn down religions. Right now, over the last, I would say, 19, 20 years, there's been a hard push that the Muslim religion is a violent religion. There's a lot of the suicide bombers, stuff like that. So they've been painted out to be a bad religion, right? But whenever you meet a Muslim person, as far as here in America, the ones that I've come across, they're not bad people. They're not out to get everybody. They're not trying to kill everybody that they don't agree with. All right. And you hear a lot of this from the media, and I've heard other Christians say this, which is surprising because the Christians have killed a lot of people throughout history. The Christian religion has caused the deaths of a lot of people. All right. So you can't really push your religion on other people. All you can do is be the best example of that religion, and maybe you'll be able to get some acceptance from others. Just taking a look at my notes here, just stuff that I wrote down. What else I got here? When it comes to your finances, right? We have this hard push right now on STEM, right? That STEM is the way to go. Was it science, technology, math, and engineering? Science, technology, engineering, and math. I think that's what all the STEM, the acronym, stands for, right? So one of the things about STEM is that the majority of people are uncomfortable and don't enjoy those subjects, I guess you could say. All right. There's a lot of people, you look at the kids in high school, they don't care about science. All right. Some people don't want to learn what makes their phone work or their computer, their laptop, their iPad. They don't care how it works. They just want it to work. Engineering. Engineering is one of those things that you got to do a lot of math. And history shows most people don't do good in math. So it's going to be very hard to push people towards engineering if they're not good in math. All right. And on the math end, there's a lot of jobs like bookkeeping, for instance. If you work at a bank or if you have your own company, some people can own their own company and they have to pay somebody to do the bookkeeping because they're not good with math or they're too lazy. They're not comfortable doing it. Right. So for some people, STEM is a great way to go. And for some people, it's not. All right. But one of the things that we've found out through history is that STEM is not what brings in the most money. Right. So when it comes to finances, if you want to make the most money is made in sales. Okay. Selling something to someone else, whether you made it or created it. You have a product or a service and you sell it to someone else. That's where the most money is made. The Mark Zuckerberg, he created Facebook or helped create the platform that made Facebook, right? And he was a rich man, but he became richer when he sold Facebook. Okay, so that shows you right there. He had a somewhat STEM background, right? He created this computer program, but the money actually came from the sale of that program. Okay, same thing with the Apple and the Microsoft. When you look at all these big oil companies and stuff like that, the guys make the big money when they sell that service or that product, something that they created or bought from somewhere else and made it better. All right, so sales is where money is at. All right, now there is money in engineering. I live right down the road from the biggest government contractor, Raytheon. They've got a bunch of engineers that live there or work there. They live all in this neighborhood and all throughout Tucson. They make a lot of money in engineering. There's guys that are making six figures designing rockets and weapons for the United States government. So yeah, there's money in STEM, but there's more money in sales because Raytheon makes the money from the sales of those rockets to the government, from the contract that they have, the service they provide. All right, that's where the big money is made. Okay, they're able to pay out the money, the good paychecks to the engineers and the people that are building the rockets. All right, so before you push your idea of what is the best way to go, the right way, take some thought and really think about what you're pushing onto your kids and you telling the younger generations, because just because you see a way to make more money than what you made in your life in this other career field or whatever, it doesn't mean that's going to be the best thing for someone else. All right. And this is why I say there's no right way. It all depends on that other person's comfort, what is best for them. All right. Again, if it's not sales, everything else you're doing is literally, it's labor. You're trading your time for dollars. Okay. And there's only 24 hours in a day, so you're limited. Okay. When it comes to sales, for instance, we got guys that write books, right? That guy can create one book and sell it over and over and over again. He's not trading hours for dollars. Okay. If he sells a book for $20 and he sells 1,000,000 books, he's bound to make, okay, the total price would be 20 million after he pays out whoever's supposed to get paid that helped him publish that book. He might clear 10, $15 million. Right? Whereas the person that's sitting behind the desk at Amazon or whatever and helping write out the programs that make Amazon work, that guy is getting paid $25 an hour or $30 an hour for the programming. All right. He's in the STEM field. Okay. But the guy that wrote the book, he's going to clear millions. All right. Off the sale of 1,000,000 books. What do they say? It's 340 million people in America. All right. You don't even need 1% of America to buy your book to make big bucks. Okay. So yeah, if you're not in sales, everything else is labor. Okay. And you're limited 24 hours in a day. All right. What else we got here? I wrote down education. Okay. So the thing I like about the education is that not everybody is a college boy. Okay. All men are not good at college, at sitting down at a desk, listening to somebody else talk. Like you're listening to me right now, if you're still listening, right? Some people are not designed to do that. In fact, young boys, the reason that they're not doing so good in school nowadays is that we're not designed to learn from sitting down and watching. Young boys learn from participating in an activity. Okay, this is why boys are restless when they sit down. In a lot of my videos, you'll see me rocking, back and forth in my chair, because I'd rather be moving around doing something. Right. So, just because you went to college and you passed a bunch of tests and stuff like that, you can't tell somebody else that your college route, your university route is the best way. Okay. There are truck drivers that can go to school for a few weeks and get their CDL. Right. And for the most part, they don't have a big loan to pay back or anything like that. Okay. So there are guys that go to college for 4 years and they, not all of them, but a lot of them end up taking out loans to go to school. Okay. So while that CDL driver, that long distance trucker or whatever, he can clear, $3,000-$4,000 a month easy, after, let's say they went the long route. It took him 6 months to get his CDL. Okay. And he starts driving the same year that he started school. Okay. He's clearing money while the college guys are racking up their debt. Okay. Then with the interest and everything like that, there are people that die still owing money on their college debts. All right. Meanwhile, that trucker, he's out there making his money. He's enjoying, he's doing something he enjoys. He's driving, he's seeing the country, seeing the landscape. He's got the freedom. He doesn't have somebody over his ear every day. All right. They give him his route and he goes and delivers his stuff, picks up the next, trailer, and he's back on the road. All right. So, just because you went to college and learned something and now you got your, $50,000-$60,000 a year job, maybe more, maybe less, don't automatically push that off of somebody else or onto somebody else and say that's the best way to go. Is it a good way? For some people, yes. For some people, no. For some people, it's stressful and it causes more headache and heartache than success in their life for them. All right. And you can look at, there's all kinds of jobs, the truckers, that's one of the big ones, right? But what's the other one that's also involved in sales? It's real estate. Okay. Here in Tucson, I know that I could go to the real estate school and within 3 weeks be a licensed realtor, selling houses, or go work at a mortgage firm. Okay. And within a few months, I could have a good little sales record going, and especially here in Tucson, they're still building a lot of houses. Raytheon's always bringing in new people, new engineers, new programs. The University of Arizona is one of the big schools out there. They're one of the what is it called? They employ the most people, right? University of Arizona, Raytheon. We got military, we got border patrol. So we got a lot of jobs that will never go away here in Tucson. So they're always going to be hiring new people. All right. So real estate's always going to be here and available in Tucson. So that might be a better route than somebody going off to school to learn how to do something that you need the 4 years of college. All right. So, this is something to think about, when you say, oh, what's the best way to go? Don't automatically push off college on your kids. Make sure that college is something that they need for what they want to do in life. Because you don't want your kids to grow up resenting you because you forced them to go to college for something they weren't interested in. The military. The military is a way for people to get an education, to grow or find growth in their life. The college route might not have been the best way for them, or they couldn't afford college. Maybe they wanted to. But with the military, they can go in and learn a trade for free. I learned how to do plumbing. I became practically a master plumber while in the military. Okay, I did everything, water, sewer, and gas. Right? Not a lick of college. Before I joined the military, I had no college courses. Okay. Now, what I did do was, while I was in the military, as I, matured a little bit, grew up a little, not a whole lot, but a little, I went and got my associate's degree while I was in. Okay. And that opened up some doors for me later on in life when I got out of the military. All right. So when it comes to education, there's not just one way. Talk to your kids, or the young adults in your life. Like me, I became a barber after I got out of the military, and I talked to a lot of people. And because of what I learned, that, college isn't the only way to go. Right. I told the kids, figure out who you are, what you want, before you make the ultimate decision to just go to school. Some people are not good in school. And so I didn't want them to automatically choose college and then put themselves in a worse position than they were in before they ever started school. All right. So again, there's no right way. All right. It's what's best for you. When it comes to relationships, there's a lot of hoo-ha going on right now. Like I said, the divorce rates are going down, or going up. I mean, the divorce rates are going up. Relationships, the status of relationships is at a rocky point. You got a lot of movements right now between feminism and MGTOW. The men going their own way. They don't want to deal with the stuff in relationships and stuff like that. You got guys out there that are trying to force change, right? So they feel that women are acting up ever since the sexual revolution and the women's rights movements and all that, the feminist movements, that now they can force a change. Well, what they seem to forget is that before all those movements, women were under constraint through religion, through the legal practices. Women were stuck to act a certain way. And when they got the women's rights movements and all that, the sexual revolution, women were unleashed to be who they are, to follow their female nature. They were allowed to go out and be the female that they are. All right. And so there's all different ways that guys think that they're going to just force some type of change over women. All right. One of the things you got to learn is that you can't force change on a people without, it pretty much comes to violence. All right. You're not going to force it. Now, you can force change on a micro level. All right. A husband and a wife. If the wife is acting a certain way, I'm not going to get too deep into it. Okay. But without violence, you can teach her to have to carry herself a certain way, so as not to embarrass you or your family. And without violence, you don't have to yell, you don't have to beat her, no harsh arguments and stuff like that. There are very subtle ways that you can teach a woman, this is what's acceptable, this is what is not acceptable. All right. To me, okay, what I found what works best for me, okay, is to be able to walk away from that relationship. Okay. Now, she might not change for you, but it's going to cause something in her mind that in her next relationship, she might be better for that guy. She might change the way that she acts or approaches situations with him. All right. So if each guy, rather than arguing at women as a whole, because you can't yell at all the women and say, all of you have to act this way. All right. People say, oh, well, the Muslims do it. No, the Muslims have always had this control over the women. Okay. But at the end of the day, the Muslim trick is if that woman acts up, there's some the old school ways of violence and stuff like that, but she can be cast out. And I look at that as being the same as walking away. You're no longer part of this family. All right. So yeah, that's all I want to go in on the relationships. All right. But yeah, there's no best way to change anybody. Okay. But there's different ways that works. Violence works. It'll cause some kind of change. Okay. But when it comes to violence, you got to remember, she can always, get some, what's that, rat poison or something put in your food if you're not careful. All right. So she can return that violence to you. Okay. So violence, I don't suggest any type of violence on a woman. All right. But like I said, there are very subtle ways, and you can go look up all the different ways. There's lots of books and relationship material out there in the world, whether it's online, books, you can talk to people that have good relationships and get that knowledge. But yeah, so again, there's no right way. There are many ways, and different ways will work best for people. All right. So I would suggest finding different ways to handle different situations. All right. Again, like I said, what's good for you might not be so good for other people. So don't be so quick to pass judgment, because somebody else does something a certain way. If they're doing what works for them, what do we say? Let them live. You know what I'm saying? That's the way they're doing it. If they're happy and comfortable in their life, and they're not going to college, or they're going to college and they're not taking the STEM field, or they're a Muslim and that guy's a Christian, that guy's a Jew, what I'm saying? Don't be so quick to judge, to pass judgment. At the end of the day, we all have the kind of the same goals. We all want to enjoy our lives. The best way to enjoy your life is to do what's best for you. Okay, and that's going to be different for each individual person. Let's start learning from each other. Okay, talking to each other, and when you talk to listen. You know what I'm saying? Actually listen to what the person's saying. Get an understanding, because it might make a change in your own life. Like I said, with that story I heard the other day, it started out as being part of. They were talking about relationships, and the guy said, "Yeah, when I buy a house, I want to go and enjoy my new house. I'm not gonna keep talking about the old house I had. The garage door was broken and the roof was leaking, and the AC, was breaking every few months. You don't keep talking about that. You go and you enjoy your new house and you make it the best you can. All right. And they related that to, if you had an experience with a woman and the last girlfriend you had, she was just, out of control, or she had a bad attitude or something like that. When you're in your new relationship, or once you leave that relationship, yeah, you can teach other people, like watch out for this type of behavior or something like that. Okay, but you can't say that every person or every woman is going to be exactly that girl. All right. Now, do all women have a lot of the same characteristics? Yeah, they're female. Just like all guys have a lot of similar characteristics. But all guys do not beat their wives. Okay. All women are not going to lie. Are they capable of it? Yeah. Doesn't mean that they're going to do it. All right. So if your boy tells you he's going to get married, you know what I'm saying? Joke around with him, play with him or whatever. But if he wants to get married, let the man get married. For him, that's what's best in his life. Some people, what is that saying? I always tell my boys this. Smart men learn from the mistakes of others. No, smart men learn from their mistakes. Wise men learn from the mistakes of others. All right. So some people have to make the mistakes for themselves. All right. And that's the way that they learn. You can't force that. You're never going to be able to force the change on anybody. All right. Now, there are wise guys out there, the chess players of the world, when they see something happen over and over and over again to multiple people, they learn that lesson. All right. But not everybody learns that way. Okay. Some people have to go through the trauma of a bad incident for them to learn a lesson. All right. So again, don't be so quick to pass judgment, and let's start talking to each other and learning from each other and listening to understand. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and end it with that one. Go ahead and if you like what I had to say, share, like, subscribe, and look me up on your social media and stuff like that. Don't mind me. It's been a long weekend. But yeah, I'll be back with another one this week, or a few more videos this week. I had a few more that I had set up that I kind of put off. And yeah, we'll talk on the next one. All right. So until the next time, aloha.